Alright, once again, I'm Joseph, running for Barrio co-chair. I feel like I'm the one of the most acceptable candidates to be in this position because ever since my older brother was a Barrio co-chair like 5 years ago, I've been dreaming about this, about doing being in this chair. I was donations chair this year. I partook in acting and dancing last year.
Hi everyone, so my name is Raelene, and so I wrote a little speech, so I'm gonna go really fast. So ever since my freshman year, I always thought how awesome it would be to lead an event like Barrio and have something that not only my partner and I would be proud of, but for all the participants to be proud to say that they were part of such a successful event. Is that 10 seconds?
No, keep going.
I want to run as Barrio co-chair because I believe I have what it takes to make a Barrio baby a success. I had the experience of being on the committee this year as a silent auction chair, so I have the clear idea of how Barrio would be next year if I were co-chair. It'd be fun, organized, comical, and I promise that I'll do my very best to make Barrio 2015 the best one yet.
Ready, go.
Hi, I'm Germe. These are 5 reasons why you should vote for me. If elected Barrio chair, I'd probably bring the entire Philippine Islands to the Campion Ballroom. I like to dream big. I appreciate all of you. Barrio would be a representation of us all. I would treat Barrio like an expensive haircut. If someone got hurt during the bullet eating contest, I would probably save their life. If I get stressed out, I'd probably be busy, too busy itching than yelling at you. So that's all.
Go.
Yo, let me make this real quick. My time is gonna tick. Organization and respect is a must. I heard UFC needs a guy that they can trust. So go ahead and vote for me, Germe Garma. That kid that came straight out of California.
Actually, no, my name is Dana, and the thing I value most about you guys and Barrio is your time. So I promise that if I am Barrio chair, I will make use of your beautiful time. Smearings, don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe.
The great opportunity to answer 4 questions because you have 2 Barrio chairs. All right. Sure. Okay. First question is from Robert. This past year, when was a time you did? Sorry, let me start over. This past year, when was a time you did not manage your time well and failed others who relied on your team effort? How did you make up for it and prove yourself otherwise?
Ready, go.
Boom. To be honest, I was not doing well with donations throughout the summer, fall quarter, and winter quarter. I realized I wasn't receiving letters with donations until towards Barrio week. But what I realized was that, people are on the internet these days when I created an online donation. And within that week, I raised $1,100? Yeah, which was more than what last year's donations should have made. Yes, right?
Ready, go.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
I'm sorry. This past year, when was the time you did not manage your time well and failed others who relied on your team effort? How did you make up for it and prove yourself otherwise?
Okay, so this year I was planning, so I'm an RA this year, and this year I planned a retreat for my health and wellness LC, and I was leading it. So a lot of the times we met up, we only met like as a group, only one time before the actual event happened, and so I was in charge of like managing 30 students. But at the same time, there were all these little pieces that needed to come together before we had the retreat, so a lot of things were very last minute. But I think it's the fact that like I stayed calm and I'm really good at improvising and going with the flow, being flexible. So with that, I was able to have a successful retreat with, and then my floor really enjoyed it, and there were no glitches and it went down smoothly. So yeah.
Ready, go.
Can you read the question? I'm just realizing.
Okay, so first off, I think that within my time management, I've learned a lot. This past year, I am a nursing major, so academically it was very demanding, and it really conflicted with UFC during winter quarter when I had to dedicate and prioritize nursing before UFC. And the way that I came back from that is just communicating my needs is really important. Communicating your needs to what you are experiencing during a time, so that everyone else is aware of that. That's really important. So as Barrio Chair, I would really emphasize communicating each other's needs to each other. So so then you can really be on base with everyone else. So yeah.
You have 2 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think one of the things that I've done is plan a lot of events that have maybe not the quality, or not the quantity of events, but the quality of events. So investing that time rather than planning so many events within UFC. It's the small events that count.
Do you need it again?
Yeah, can I
Okay.
can I get a question?
This past year, when was a time you did not manage your time well and failed others who relied on your team effort? How did you make up for it and prove yourself otherwise?
So I know during the fall quarter, I really struggled with academics, and I went through a lot of stuff throughout winter break. So the next 2 quarters, I've really focused on putting my priorities straight, putting my academics first, because obviously we all are students first, and I think that it helped me become better at time management, and as a result, I was able to focus more on academics and get my grades up. And I think that's important for Barrio Chair, because especially it's winter quarter, and that's when you have to crucially manage your time well.
Can you repeat the question?
This past year, when was a time you did not manage your time well and failed others who relied on your team effort? How did you make up for it and prove yourself otherwise?
Over winter quarter, our club was really involved in concessions, and there was a week when I had a lot of school or academic obligations. However, and we also had a lot of concessions obligations that we had to meet, and there was a point where I couldn't make a concessions day because of a lab. And Ashley Brown, who is the general manager at Airmark, she was relying on me and our team to be there for her, and unfortunately I myself as the group leader couldn't be there. So how I coped with that was reaching out to all of you guys and voicing exactly what I needed from everyone and every single officer who could help.
Sorry. One of the biggest challenges is accommodating everyone that wants to attend Barrio Fiesta. Since the venue limits the number in attendance and we typically have more people that want to attend than seats, do you have plans or ideas to resolve this issue? Yeah.
Sorry, Dana.
In order to accommodate more people to attend Barrio, I would encourage especially the students to volunteer, and to do that I would reach out to different clubs, because I know a lot of clubs like to support each other, and by reaching out to their members and getting volunteers, not only do we have their support in creating Barrio and having it be successful, but also they can enjoy it as well, and it's not just them working for us, it's them enjoying and bonding with our club as well.
Well, the way I see it, Barrio is for the community. It's not for us, just us Filipinos and just CLU. It's for the community. And along with getting more volunteers from different clubs and organizations, I feel like we should probably PR more around the school, around the community, and hopefully there will be a bunch of interest from a variety of groups.
In order to accommodate the demand for Barrio, I would say, I know that we went over this idea already, but having it 2 nights is really important, because a lot of the people that come for Barrio are our family, not the students necessarily. So I believe that if they were to, say, go to Barrio Run Through or see a preview of Barrio, or some sense of informal Barrio guests, or maybe some for a cheaper price in Piggott Auditorium or something like that, then they can still enjoy the show and what we have to offer, as well as they're more inclined to go because it's a cheaper price, as well as we would sell no food, and basically Barrio would accommodate our family for the most part for that official Barrio in Campion Ballroom. So there can be an informal Barrio as well.
I had a similar idea to Germe's, but having something that's more like show oriented. So, for example, like Piggott Auditorium, where you would have like the families that just really want to see the children like perform or their kids perform, and have that be more of like, oh, here's a show and we're putting on like dances and the act for you. In addition to that, if that's not possible, I would also probably try restructuring the room to make it as efficient as possible. So either like, talking to CES and like find a new game plan, because I know that previous boroughs in the past have had trouble with trying to accommodate more people. So yeah, try to restructure the room and see different ways where you maybe make smaller tables so you can fit like another table where people can sit. And yeah, so that's what I would want to do to accommodate more people.
For me, the past 2 years, I volunteered for like the other cultural main events like Swan and Luau. And what I got from that was that, what Raelene was saying, the restructuring of our layout. I noticed that in Swan, they used, the way they structured their layout was that the stage was, somewhere else, and they used round tables, and they still had more space left. So I was thinking we can do that. And then from what Germe was saying, we can do an informal and formal Barrio. And then, like Barrio Hype Night, what we did this year, I feel like we could improve on that. Having a day for performances, as what I think Raelene was saying. But yeah, I had similar ideas from what
Great. 2 more to go. Among the other officers, who will be your best allies in executing your plans for the Barrio Fiesta and why?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Among the other officers, who will be your best allies in executing your plans for Barrio Fiesta and why? So, who among the officers would be your best allies in executing your plans for Barrio Fiesta?
I would say all of them. It's a group effort. It's just that Barrio co-chairs, they take the lead. I feel like as a historian, they could, advertise on social media when Barrio is, and like I think 2 years ago when we put out that commercial, that was really interesting. Treasurer, helping with funds and all that. PR, same with historian. But yeah, as I said again, it's a group effort. Everyone's your ally, even the club itself. They can help, generate that publicity that we need to get people's attention with helping us with Barrio.
So an idea that I did have, like if I were to become Barrio co-chair, was to add another position, and that would be a volunteer chair. And I think that's because there's a lot of Barrio and just cultural events in the past rely a lot on volunteers and how efficient they are. And that not only includes like people from our club that are participating in the dances or in the skit, but also volunteers from other clubs and other students that would want to see Barrio but wouldn't really want to pay. But anyway, I think it'd be really important to just have like the common goal of making Barrio a success and having volunteers know like what Barrio really is about and what we want to accomplish out of it. Because I think like what Joseph said, like it really is all about teamwork, and if there isn't clear communication between people who are helping Barrio become a success, aside from performances, then the whole thing would crumble apart, because without those volunteers and without the teamwork and camaraderie from everyone, then obviously people wouldn't feel welcome going to the event. They wouldn't enjoy it in the sense of preparing for the event and also for cleaning up. because what I saw from volunteering for Hui was at the very end of Hui, everyone was all gung-ho for cleaning up, and they were able to clean up the whole entire ballroom within like an hour. So that's, I think, something that's very, very important was to everyone to have nice and clear communication, know what Barrio is about, and how we'd like to be Barrio, how we'd like Barrio to be seen moving forward.
I think that I do agree that all the officers have a responsibility to be an ally for any officer position, including Barrio. But if I were to narrow it to top 3, I would say cultural chair. It's really important for Barrio to stay culturally relevant and culturally sound, and really make sure that Barrio is promoting a sense of culture within the greater Seattle community, so that we can work hand in hand with providing that, cultivating that sense of culture. Also, fundraising chair and treasurer, I would group them into 2 because without Barrio is, let's be honest, Barrio is based on how much funds we have. If money's not coming in, it can really reflect the quality of Barrio. So that was really dependent, and they have to be a really good ally. And lastly, I would say PR, because PR, honestly, they have a lot of power and a lot of people look up to them in the sense that they are that personal connection. Their position is cultivated with establishing that personal connection with everyone, whether that be through promote videos, whether that be through personal lunches or anything. So I think those 3 positions would be the greatest allies, but like I said before, I think that all of us as officers have a responsibility to be allies, whether that be through participating through dances, being a delegate for if Barrio chair cannot be there at a certain time.
So, I mean, I agree with Joseph and Germs that all the officers are needed, but if I had to choose one, it would probably be the public relations, the PR, and that's because the PR is the one that's gonna be like advertising for Barrio and advertising for tickets, and but obviously the PR can also help like with promo videos and pictures, and I feel like with that, if the PR does advertise well, then I think people will draw a lot of interest in coming and also getting involved with Barrio.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Among the other officers, who will be your best allies in executing your plans for Barrio Fiesta and why?
I agree with every other candidate up here in that every officer is vital to making Barrio what it is, but there's also a reason why we have committee chairs, but I can see every aspect of every officer position as being a help to those committee chairs. However, I would say that affiliates relations is one of the most important positions, is one of Barrio co-chairs' greatest allies, because not only does it reach out to Northwest FASA, but affiliates relations is also important in reaching out to different Filipino organizations out there, like FANS and FLOW and FPAWS, maybe just other organizations out there that can help support Barrio, donate to Barrio, and just make Barrio the idea of community that it's supposed to be. Because it's not just limited to this school and this Seattle community, it's limited to the entire Filipino community as far as we can reach out, and that's what I think Barrio is about, is bringing that Filipino culture back here to this place that we call home, Seattle U.
Okay, last question. From a past Barrio chair too. What is one possible theme concept you would incorporate for Barrio?
Theme as in so I've actually been thinking about this for a while. I was thinking of like a Freaky Friday kind of type deal, just because it has those aspects of like that you can put Filipino culture into, like the whole son-daughter relationship with the parent. Also, I was thinking about incorporating the dances into that. There's but yeah, having that theme of Freaky Friday, because I know my parents, they did a lot. They do a lot for me, and just showing their appreciation through the skit and the theme itself. I'm still digging through that, but it's definitely something I was thinking about. Other than that, just sorry.
A theme that I would have would be like "Tara, let's go," which means like "Come on, let's go." Because a lot of our culture, or just specifically like just Filipinos in general, we all like to socialize. Whether that means going to a family event or like specifically in the Philippines, like watching a TV show, which is like huge. Like no matter what we do, we're always together. So I feel like that's a really important theme to not only show within our club, but to also show other people like this is what Filipinos are all about. It's all about being together with family, with friends and people that you care about. And it doesn't matter where you go, no matter what, it's always going to be a good time. So that's kind of a theme that I would be thinking about, that if I were to become Barrio co-chair, I'd play around that theme of like, come on, let's go. So it's like, doesn't matter where you go, it just matters like who's there. So it's not like quantity, it's more like quality of the people that's around you and I guess the event you go to.
If I were to, I guess, promote a theme that I have in mind, I really want to focus on how our struggle develops a passion for our culture. So I came up with the theme Pagmasakit, which is struggle. And basically, I would base it off sort of Parent Trap. So there's basically, there's two sons, I guess, there's two sons that are separated, and one's in America and one's living in the Philippines, and they end up meeting each other, realizing that maybe this American is taking their parents for granted, or maybe what the Filipino native is, his upbringing is way different than the American upbringing. Maybe he really wants to go to America, but it's not as fortunate or thriving as he wished it would be. So essentially, they switch places, realize the different values about being a Filipino American, being a native Filipino, establishing a balance, and really honoring our upbringing and how we are different. So, Pagmasakit, 2015.
So I've thought about this for a while. I don't have the exact name, but I guess one of the topics I've always been thinking about is like identity and like who we are as Filipinos, because there's like Filipinos and then there's Filipino Americans, and not all of us were like had the same upbringing. Some people were born in America, some people were born in the Philippines and elsewhere, and I guess what I'm trying to tackle at is like how did we establish our Filipino identity, and how we were able to basically come together and be able to socialize and stuff.
Could you repeat the question? I'm so sorry. I have short-term memory loss. Sorry.
It's okay. What is one possible theme concept you would incorporate for Barrio?
Okay. One theme that I would like to do or incorporate is to somehow incorporate a significant event in our Filipino history, because we spend a lot of time talking about bridging the old generation to the new generation, or how we are as Filipino Americans and stuff, but we never really truly go back to our roots, and we never really understand the history of our culture. And I think it would be interesting to take a modern twist on a historical event, because I mean, we are in the 21st century. We're not gonna sit and watch a recreation of an 18th century war, but I do think it's important to understand where we come from, like truly where we come from, what made us that culture. And I think taking a modern twist on a historical event could be really interesting. And I also find history really interesting, so I think that would be a cool way to incorporate because our mission statement is to foster leadership in individuals, and I think knowing our history will help develop leadership in ourselves, and also just to help know our Filipino past, but also relate it to our Filipino American present and future, and I think that that's a really good way to do so.